Hartmann rounding out the top 6 rows, with Maximilian Saar, Nick Noel Müller, Andrei Petropoulos, Maxim Lieder, Vivian Michel Heid, Anna-Sophie Tham, and Lukas Wawrzyniak. I'll try and get that surname right. Wawrzyniak rounding out the 19 strong. So it will be 14 minutes plus an additional lap here at this very, very interesting and undulating circuit here at Kerpen. Another new circuit for me personally. So again, we will have a rolling start formation. And after this one, I will have 3 more races to go before the lunch break, which looks to be slightly delayed. Just keeping an eye on the timings at the moment. So we're running about close to 15 minutes behind schedule here at Kerpen. Obviously with the attrition that we've had throughout the morning. So it is Bock, Henson, Trusheim, Ponkratz, Tim Mikametz, Krupper, Thompson, Horstmann, Heinen and Bossert. That is the top 10. 19 drivers ready to get going yet again here in Kerpen. They filter their way through the Schumacher chicane, round the final corner at the left-hander. They will have to watch the tram lines. It will be an automatic 3-second penalty. The Rotax engines roar into life. We go racing, first time, and there's contact already. One's man at the back of another and clattered into another cart, and that's 3 carts involved. So just trying to keep an eye on who that was, but there is one driver that is not taking, that's double waved yellows at turn 1. The main thing is that the driver has walked away. That's the biggest sigh of relief I could actually have. So, drivers now coming through into the left-hander that brings them onto the Schumacher chicane, as it's definitely game on between the 313 of Fabian Bock and Paul Trusheim in the 303. Just behind them, I think that's Linus Henson rounding out the top 3 positions. And then in the 333 just behind is Tim Mikametz. So Metz up the inside of Henson now into turn 2. Does he make the move stick? Not quite, but someone goes very wide. No, that's the 303 of Paul Trusheim. Goes very wide and nearly off into the gravel, off of turn 2. So the rest of the field swallows up the 303, who drops all the way down to, I think, possibly at least 8th position. Or maybe even make that towards the back part of the field. And that's Max Bosse that will not be taking any further part in this race. The 343 having walked away from the incident. The cart stricken on the outside of turn number 1. And at the minute, the 313 of Fabian Bock continues to lead. Linus Henson now in 2nd place. In P3, it's Tim Mikametz. Paul Trusheim has not yet crossed the line and is outside of the top 10. Down into P13. As I think Tim Mikametz tried to go up the inside of Henson and got the move done on turn 2 for 2nd place. So already, looks like I think it was Nick Noel Müller and Maximilian Saar that were involved in that 3-way accident that Max Buzzer, I think, was an unwilling participant in, as it went 3 abreast going into turn 1. 11 minutes and 45 seconds, plus an additional lap left to go, as Linus Henson steels himself and gets ready to put the fight to Tim Mikametz in the 333, who's got very close to the back bumper of Fabian Bock going through the final corner and nearly loses out 2nd position to Linus Henson. But luckily enough, closes the door off quickly as Niklas Krins is now up into P7. Maximilian Krupper gets past the 341 for 6th position. Jan Heinen and Julia Poinkratz now round out the top 5 positions. Both Anna-Sophia Tham and Vivian Michel Heid in the 323 and the 344 up to P13 and P14 respectively. Lukas Thompson and Maxim Lieder now round out the top 10 positions. But Fabian Bock is now really under pressure. It's a 4-way scrap as Jan Heinen's joined it. So Fabian Bock, Tim Mikametz and Jan Heinen now has got past Linus Henson for P3. And with this happening, Julia Ponkratz and Maximilian Krupper will quickly be with them. Ponkratz just ahead of Krupper, going across the start-finish line. Tim Mika-Metz, I think, was looking up the inside of Fabian Bock for P1, but couldn't quite make it stick. There's a little bit of standing water, as I've just seen some water kicked up by Linus Henson through the exit of turn 2 on the exit curbing. But it is still very much game on. 10 minutes and 15 seconds plus an additional lap to go. Fabian Bock continues to hold on to the lead at the moment and has Tim Mika-Metz, Jan Heinen and Linus Henson, as Heinen swarming all over the back of Tim Mika-Metz there for second position. It's all about getting the right purchase and the traction coming out of the final corner, which the top 6 all managed to do, not a problem at all. As Niklas Krens in the 341, looking a little bit lonely in 7th, ahead of Lucas Thompson, and then there's a bit of a swarm behind that. Maxim Lieder, Lucas Horstmann, Andrei Petropoulos, Lucas Bajinak now up into P11. As Lucas Horstmann gets past Maxim Lieder for P9. But the gap between the top 4 last time around was just under 0.6 of a second between Bock, Mika-Metz, Heinen and Henson. And it is nearly side by side, as it looks like Heinen went up the inside of Tim Mika-Metz through the left-hander into the approach on the Schumacher chicane. So nice work there by the 312. So we got just over 9 minutes remaining, and now Heinen is gunning for Fabian Bock and goes towards the inside through the exit of turn 1, through into turn 2, through to the hairpin, goes wide. Bock responds. Tim Mika-Metz also goes through. So Heinen gets the lead and drops back to 3rd after the corner itself. So it's still plenty of time for multiple drivers to have an opportunity to try and go and get the lead back off of Fabian Bock, who has quite literally been riding the bull and grabbing both horns at the same time. So Bock continues to lead with Tim Mika-Metz right on the back bumper and tries to send it up the inside again on turn number 2. So Bock round to the outside. Oh, he gets nerfed a little bit wide there by Tim Mika-Metz. It was the slightest of clashes, if I'm completely honest. However, that's now compromised Fabian Bock, who I think now, by my reckoning, has dropped down to P3 as a result of that slightest of altercations. So Tim Mika-Metz now takes the lead from Fabian Bock. So that means it looks like Linus Henson now up into P2, which is the case. And as a result of that, Jan Heinen is now sitting in 4th place. Tries to go up the inside of Fabian Bock for position. And it's still getting very dicey out there. Sometimes it's about trying to see if you can go for it, and some drivers will, as Jan Heinen did there on Fabian Bock, going up the inside of turn 2. But Heinen had to slot back into 4th position. But in the meantime, Julia Ponkratz is now very much with them, as will be Maximilian Krupper very, very shortly. So the top 6 will be battling away for the victory as we hit the half-time distance. Well, I've just seen that on the back bumper of Maximilian Krupper, that's the 341 of Niklas Krens. So Tim Mika-Metz leads from Linus Henson, Fabian Bock, Jan Heinen, Julia Ponkratz, Maximilian Krupper, and also Niklas Krens. Rounding out the top 10 is Lucas Horstmann, Lucas Thompson. Oh no, someone's off into the barriers off of turn 2. That was a hard hit there. Who is that? I'm gonna now that's not Fabian Bock, is it? That could very well be the case. Fabian Bock, I believe, has just hit the barriers, and I'm not too sure what the problem was there, but he just went straight on at a rate of knots. And there is a little bit of spitting on the commentary box. There is a little bit of rain starting to show, but it's not enough this time to cause any problems, I think. And it is Fabian Bock. That is Fabian Bock that is not having any further participation in this race. And I've just seen the 301 of Petropoulos go very, very wide onto the dirt, coming out of the left-hander, and there's also been, now this is causing problems. The track is getting slippier now. The rain is starting to intensify. With 5 minutes and 35 to go, it's now to see who can keep it planted, who is going to keep it on the asphalt as best they can, not make any mistakes. It is not about it's not just about where you are going to finish. It is about if you are going to survive to the end of this race, especially with the wet weather conditions. Slippery surface flags being shown all circuit. So the drivers now have a test of resolve, strength, character, but also precision, as now Linus Henson is sensing that he might have an opportunity on the inside of Tim Mika-Metz, but has a loss of traction coming out of the final corner. But on this occasion through turn 2, Tim Mika-Metz just clatters over the curbs, allows Linus Henson, Niklas Krenz, who's now up into P3. And Fabian Bock, I think, might have just retired after that hefty hit frontwards into the wall, the tyre barrier, off of turn number 2. But according to the timing sheets, I think he might still be circulating. And it has changed again, because now the driver leading is Niklas Krenz. Niklas Krenz leads. Linus Henson in second place. Tim Mika-Metz in third. Fourth, that is... that's Jan Heinen. I think that's Jan Heinen who's now in second. Tim Mika-Metz in... as Heinen goes up the inside of Krenz to take the lead. Round turn 2. Krenz on the switchback. Pair nearly go side by side. And as Krenz tries to go for the inside of turn number 3. Now goes through turn 5 very nicely. And retakes the lead. So it's getting a bit slippery out there, and you can, for those watching on the stream at home, you can just see how much the drivers are starting to fight the karts, because even with these slick tyres, as Jan Heinen's gone up the inside of Niklas Krenz on the approach towards the final part of the circuit, and just slungshot past Niklas Krenz on the approach towards the Schumacher chicane. Now into turn 1, it is not just 4 karts that could be battling for the victory. It could be 7 very, very shortly, as Tim Mika-Metz goes side by side with Niklas Krenz. Krenz reasserts himself, and here comes Linus Henson, trying to get past Tim Mika-Metz, who shuts the door firmly in the direction of the 334. Julia Ponkratz now has got a ringside seat, as has Maximilian Cooper and Lucas Thompson. It is about being clean and precise, and there's no, at this particular point in the race, with 2 minutes and 39 plus an additional lap to go, it's all about who is going to just basically keep it pointed in the right direction, not make any mistakes, not hit the power too early, not brake too hard or outbrake themselves. And that person looks to be Jan Heinen in the 312, who's got a gap of just over 0.8 of a second, as Tim Mika-Metz, I think, has just gone up the inside of Niklas Krenz once again for P2. Makes the move through turn 3, completed, as Linus Henson now is with them. Julia Ponkratz rounding out the top 5 ahead of Maximilian Krupper. Lucas Thompson, Lucas Wozniak rounds out the top 8, having started from pretty much the back part of the field. Lucas Horstmann and Lucas Hartmann round out the top 10. Paul Trussheim is in 11th ahead of Anna-Sophia Tham, with Vivian Michel Haidt rounding out the top 13. Petropoulos now down into 14th position ahead of Maximilian Saar. Fabian Bock still circulating though in 16th, with Nick Noel Müller rounding out the top 17 positions, with Maxim Lieder and Max Boss rounding out the 2 that have retired, as it is an absolute squabble. Linus Henson absolutely runs wide. Coming out of the exit of turn 2, that drops him down out of the top 5 positions. That puts him, I think, P8 or P9 by my reckoning. So with the rain having sort of thrown a curveball at the field, it's tripped a few up, but it hasn't caught out Jan Heinen, who is still leading. Tim Mika-Metz in second, Niklas Krenz, and now Julia Ponkratz now up into P4 ahead of Maximilian Krupper in the 321. So Ponkratz doing an absolutely fantastic job and now has an opportunity. We go on to the last 45 seconds, plus an additional lap of this race, with the weather definitely deciding, well, if you want good racing, I'm going to spice it up a little bit. So here's a little rainfall for you. And that's definitely been the case, as there's a definite sideways moment through what looked to be turn 5. And I think that might have been Linus Henson going sideways in 9th position. So it's still very much game on. We've got about 14 seconds. So it looks like Jan Heinen will cross the line very, very shortly with 7 seconds on the clock remaining. Now we go on to the penultimate lap of this race. So the top 5, it's Jan Heinen from Tim Mikametz, Niklas Krens, who is actually being caught by Julia Ponkratz in the 3:07, and also the 3:21 of Maximilian Krupper. Lukas Thompson, Lukas Warzinak, Lukas Horstmann, Linus Henson, Lukas Hartmann round out the top 10 positions as the time has now expired on the counter. As Jan Heinen comes in to the left-hander, fully committed, fully planted, as was Tim Mikametz. So Tim Mikametz, I think, has definitely said, now, I've got one lap, I could go for it. We'll see what happens very shortly, because they head down towards turn 2 for the final time. Heinen puts the brakes on neatly. Right rear wheel goes up into the air, as it does with Niklas Krens, and Linus Henson again, definitely in the trenches, and has got just behind Lukas Horstmann in the 3:18, amongst others. So very much a case in point that when others started to struggle, Jan Heinen definitely has done the business here in what's been a changeable weather condition race through the Schumacher chicane for the final time. Around the final corner, it's not going to be enough for Tim Mikametz, because Jan Heinen takes the win. And that was by just under 0.4 of a second at the flag. Niklas Krens holds on to 3rd after Julia Ponkratz tried chasing the 3:41 down for P3. Julia finished ahead of Maximilian Krupper in the 3:21. Lukas Thompson rounds out the top 6 in the 3:32, ahead of Linus Henson in P7. Lukas Warzinak in 8th. Lukas Horstmann and Lukas Hartmann rounding out the top 10 positions, all separated by just under 9.8 seconds at the end of that race, with Paul Trussheim, Fabian Bock recovering to P12, ahead of Anna Sophia Thum in the 3:23. Andre Petropoulos went dirt tracking a bit earlier and ended up 14th as a result. Maximilian Saar in 15th, ahead of Vivian Michel Reit, and Nick Noel Müller rounding out the 17 that completed the race, with Maxim Lieder ending his race on lap number 7, with Max Bosse not making it past the exit of turn number 1.